The alarm screamed before Malik even saw the glow. Sparks crackled along the walls of the maintenance wing, and the air smelled of ozone and burned circuits. He was just a janitor sweeping floors he'd known for years, but tonight something felt wrong. A chill unlike any air-conditioning draft crept through his jacket, biting through the synthetic fibers. The cryochamber doors ahead shivered as if they were alive. Malik's boots skidded on the slick metal floor. The warning lights flashed red in frantic bursts. Temperature unstable, vessel breach imminent, the automated voice intoned, echoing off the high ceilings. He had no time to think, only to move. Heart hammering, he yanked open the reinforced door and froze. Inside the chamber, a tiny creature hovered in a block of ice. Its scales shimmered like molten silver trapped in frost, eyes wide and glimmering with intelligence. Even encased in ice, it pulsed softly like it was breathing with energy. Malik's fingers itched to touch it. Something told him this creature wasn't just alive, it was extraordinary. The ice cracked with a sharp pop. Sparks flew. The creature shivered violently, tiny claws scraping against the frozen wall. Malik didn't hesitate. He grabbed a heat torch from the storage rack and activated it, carefully melting the ice just enough to free the creature without burning it. Steam hissed around them, and the dragon-like baby gave a soft, melodic chirp that reverberated strangely through the chamber, sending shivers down Malik's spine. Suddenly, a deep rumble shook the floor. The chamber's containment field flared, and a massive security drone burst through the entry hatch, blinding lights cutting the shadows. Unknown life form detected. Neutralization protocol active. Malik's mind raced. He ducked behind a support beam, dragging the ice block and torch with him, clutching the shimmering creature to his chest. The drone's scanners painted the chamber in red lines. Every step it took made the floor vibrate under Malik's boots. He could feel the creature squirming in fear. Its eyes met his, and he saw a spark of understanding, an almost human recognition of trust. Malik whispered, "I've got you. We'll make it." He edged toward a maintenance hatch at the corner, heart in his throat. The drone pivoted, sensors sweeping in a deadly arc. Malik counted each second. 1, 2, 3, then with a lunge he slipped through the hatch, barely closing it behind him. Sparks flew as the drone's arms slammed against the metal panel. Malik let out a shaky breath, his back pressed against the cold wall. The baby dragon shivered again, nuzzling against him, its warmth slowly seeping through the chest plate of his suit. "Okay," Malik muttered, his voice steadying. "We survive this one step at a time." He looked at the creature's scales, swirling with colors he didn't recognize. Energy pulses faintly emanated from its body, tiny arcs of light crawling across his gloves. The warmth was soothing, almost alive. It was the first reward for his risk, and it was small, but real. A distant crash echoed through the facility, metal twisting and alarms blaring louder. The temperature sensors now read critical. If the chamber back there failed completely, the baby dragon wouldn't survive. Malik knew what he had to do, get it to the outer docks where the storm outside could help mask their escape, but the path was littered with malfunctioning doors, sparks, and the ever-hunting drones. He took a deep breath, scanning the dim corridors. The facility had been abandoned to experiments no one dared speak of. He knew the AI protocols inside could activate automated defenses at any moment. One wrong move and he and the creature would be toast. But giving up wasn't an option. He tightened his grip and moved forward. Suddenly a low hum filled the air. Malik froze. The creature stiffened, ears, or whatever they were, pricking up. Shadows flickered against the walls, dancing unnaturally. Then a burst of energy shot from the dragon's body, knocking a drone off balance in the next hallway. Malik blinked. The baby dragon wasn't helpless, it was more than it seemed. A new thought pierced his fear: this creature can help me survive, but what else can it do? His pulse spiked as the hallway shook. More drones were activating, and the temperature chamber's failure alarm screeched in the background. He had no time to think, only to act. One wrong move and the life in his arms, and whatever secrets it held, would be lost forever. Malik sprinted toward the maintenance elevator, the dragon's tiny claws digging into his gloves as it chirped, a sound that was part warning, part plea. Sparks arced above him, metal groaned, and the facility seemed to twist around them. Then, just as he reached the elevator, a massive shadow loomed overhead, and a deep, resonating growl filled the chamber, larger than any machine. Malik's breath caught. Whatever this was, it wasn't a drone. And for the first time he realized he wasn't alone in this fight. Malik's boots clanged against the metal floor as he raced toward the elevator, the tiny dragon clinging tightly to his chest. Its scales shimmered under the flashing warning lights, reflecting sparks from the ceiling above. The growl from before still echoed, deep and powerful, as if the facility itself were warning him to stop. He didn't stop. Every second counted. The elevator doors hissed open, revealing the shaft beyond. It wasn't meant for passengers, only maintenance bots, but Malik didn't care. He pried the heavy panel aside and dropped the dragon gently inside. The creature chirped softly, almost like it was urging him forward. Malik pressed the manual override and the elevator shuddered into motion, groaning under its own weight. Sparks rained down from broken cables overhead, narrowly missing him as he held the dragon close. A loud metallic crash resounded from the hallway he had just fled. The drones were gaining on him, faster and more relentless than he had expected. He gritted his teeth, glancing down at the dragon. Its little eyes flickered with an inner light, and he realized it was communicating, somehow sensing the dangers he couldn't yet understand. Malik's mind raced. If it's intelligent, maybe it can guide me. Maybe it can survive this with me. The elevator jolted violently, then dropped a few inches. Sparks flew. Malik's heart raced as he fought to stabilize it. A panel burst open and glowing wires whipped around him like snakes. The dragon let out a small melodic screech, and instantly the wires recoiled, sparking harmlessly against the metal walls. Malik blinked. The creature's energy, whatever it was affecting the electronics. He swallowed hard, realizing the small life in his arms was already changing their odds. The elevator hit the lower deck with a screech and Malik leapt out, scanning the corridor ahead. The facility's inner sections were a maze of maintenance tunnels, some collapsed, others flooded with icy condensate. He could hear the drone servos whirring behind him, their sensors sweeping. One wrong move and they would pierce the dragon's fragile body, or worse, his own. A sudden flash of movement caught his eye. Shadows danced along the walls and he froze. Another sound joined the drone's mechanical whine, a low rumble, soft at first, then rising into a roar that made the metal walls vibrate. Malik's pulse quickened. The larger creature from before, the one that had loomed above the chamber, was moving through the facility. He could feel its presence, immense and intelligent, tracking him. Malik had no choice but to keep moving. He ducked through a side passage, ice dripping from the ceiling onto his helmet, narrowly avoiding the sparks from exposed circuits. The baby dragon squirmed, claws brushing his gloves, but Malik whispered, "Almost there. We just need to make it to the surface." The surface. The outer docks. That was his only chance. Once outside, the storm could hide him, the baby dragon could use its strange energy to protect them, and they might finally escape the facility's traps. But the path was blocked by a wall of frozen debris, shards of ice and broken machinery fused together in jagged spikes. Malik swallowed, assessing the obstacle. Every second the drones were closing in and the larger creature, whatever it was somewhere above, silent but watching. He turned to the dragon. Its eyes were fixed on the frozen barrier, and its tiny body trembled. Malik understood instinctively, it wanted him to do something impossible. "All right, little one," he muttered. "Let's see if we can break physics together." He grabbed a loose maintenance pipe and swung it against the ice. Nothing. Another strike. The ice cracked slightly, then recoiled, almost as if resisting him. The dragon chirped sharply, and suddenly a pulse of energy shot from its body, causing the jagged ice to shiver violently. Malik's jaw dropped. Sparks ran across the frozen shards, melting parts of it into slush. He quickly swung the pipe again and together with the creature's energy pulses, they carved a path through the wall. Small victory, tiny payoff, but crucial. Just as they emerged into the outer dock corridor, the facility's emergency lights flickered, revealing dozens of drones converging from all directions. Malik pressed the dragon close. His mind raced. There was no way through with brute force alone. But the dragon's energy continued to pulse, reacting to his presence. An idea formed. If he could channel its energy through the docking systems, maybe he could disable the drones temporarily. He bolted for a terminal on the dock wall, dragging the creature along. Sparks flew, the floor shook, and drones adjusted their positions. Malik jammed his hands against the terminal, connecting the dragon's glowing body to the exposed circuits. A surge of light rippled across the dock. Drones sparked, faltered, and collapsed in a chain reaction. Malik stumbled back, panting, clutching the dragon. The little creature chirped in delight, trembling but unharmed. Malik's relief was short-lived. The wind from the storm outside howled through the open dock doors, carrying with it a strange metallic scent. He looked up and froze. A colossal shadow passed above them, wings blurring with speed. The enormous dragon had arrived, descending through the storm toward the dock. Its eyes glowed like twin suns, fixed on Malik and the small dragon. Malik's chest tightened. He had survived drones, freezing chambers and collapsing tunnels, but now he faced a being beyond comprehension. He took a careful step back, holding the creature closer. The baby dragon chirped in warning, sending small arcs of light dancing across the dock floor. Malik's mind raced. Do we run? Do we hide? Or do we trust it? Before he could decide, the colossal dragon roared, a sound that shook the metal beams above him. The dock doors rattled, and lightning from the storm illuminated the terrifying scales and massive wingspan. Malik's pulse pounded. Whatever came next, nothing would be the same. And in that moment, as the storm howled and the facility trembled, Malik realized the baby dragon wasn't just a creature in need of rescue. It was the key to something far larger, something that could change everything he thought he knew about the universe. Malik froze under the storm's howling wind, the baby dragon pressing against his chest, quivering but glowing softly. The colossal dragon hovered above the dock, wings spanning wider than the facility's roof. Its eyes, molten gold and alive with intelligence, fixed on him. Malik's breath caught. He had survived collapsing tunnels, drones and frozen chambers, but nothing prepared him for this. The baby dragon chirped sharply, tiny pulses of light flickering along its scales. Malik noticed the colossal dragon's head tilt ever so slightly in response. It wasn't aggression. It was recognition. Something about the small creature connected them. Malik's pulse quickened. He realized he wasn't just holding a baby dragon. He held a bridge between two worlds. A deafening roar split the air as the colossal dragon landed with a thunderous crash, shaking loose snow and frozen debris from the outer docks. Malik stumbled backward but held his ground. I saved it, he shouted over the wind. I only wanted to help. The creature in his arms chirped in agreement, wings fluttering. The dragon's golden eyes narrowed, and Malik felt a pulse of energy wash over him. The air shimmered around him and his mind felt light, almost electric. He staggered but remained upright. Something inside the baby dragon reacted, letting him understand, not with words but with instinctual knowing. The creature had a memory, an intelligence encoded deep in its being. And it was trying to show him. Suddenly, flashes of images struck Malik's mind. An alien empire in chaos, dragons enslaved or hunted, cities suspended in the sky, and technology that bent reality. He stumbled, gripping the baby dragon tighter. His pulse raced. The little dragon's chirps intensified, almost guiding him. Malik realized it wasn't just a baby, it carried the consciousness of its species or at least fragments of it. The colossal dragon stepped closer, its massive claws scraping the dock, sparks flying. Malik held up a hand instinctively, not in surrender but in calm. We won't hurt each other, he said firmly. The baby dragon glowed brighter in response, and a strange vibration echoed through Malik's chest. A bond was forming, fragile but undeniable. Then something unexpected happened. The colossal dragon lowered its head slowly, so close Malik could see its nostrils flare, feel the heat radiating from its scales. Its voice, deep, resonant, almost telepathic, filled Malik's mind. Protector. You chose to save what others would destroy. Malik's heart skipped. He had never imagined a being could communicate without words, yet the message was crystal clear. A sudden tremor shook the dock as more drones arrived, converging from the facility's inner corridors. Malik's eyes darted between the colossal dragon and the mechanical army. The baby dragon chirped again, energy arcs flicking over its tiny wings. Malik realized it could manipulate the drone circuits like it had done before, but on a larger scale. His mind raced. If we coordinate, maybe we can survive this. Maybe we can even turn the tide. Malik placed the dragon on a metal platform, carefully connecting its glowing body to the exposed docking systems again. He spoke softly, reassuring it. The baby dragon pulsed once, twice, and then in a brilliant flash of light, the drone sensors fizzled, sparks cascading down their limbs. They stumbled, stalled, and collapsed. Malik's heart soared. He had done it. Small payoff. They had survived another impossible obstacle. But relief was fleeting. A low rumble filled the air, deeper than the storm, deeper than any mechanical sound. Malik looked up, and the colossal dragon spread its wings, lifting into the storm with a sudden, graceful motion. The wind whipped around them, and the baby dragon's glow intensified, responding to its parent. Malik realized the adult dragon was testing him, watching how he handled the fragile life in his hands. His mind raced. He had proven courage and quick thinking against machines and ice, but now he faced something immeasurably older, wiser, and powerful. Could he survive a being that could crush the entire facility in moments? Could he protect the baby dragon while navigating the unknown rules of this alien species? The storm outside intensified, howling through broken dock doors, carrying flakes of metallic snow that glittered like stars. Malik knew he had to move. He scooped the baby dragon back into his arms and sprinted toward the edge of the docks, his exosuit skimming across ice and metal. Behind him, the colossal dragon followed, wings beating with terrifying elegance, its eyes never leaving him. It was a silent challenge. Prove your worth. Malik's chest burned as he reached the outer edge, looking down at the frozen planet below. A sheer drop, but landing there offered cover, mobility, and a chance to escape. He didn't hesitate. He leapt. The baby dragon's claws dug into his gloves as they plummeted, and Malik felt an unexpected lift, energy from the creature flowing into him, cushioning their fall. They hit the ice with a slide, sparks flying from friction, but both remained unharmed. Malik gasped for air, adrenaline and awe mixing in his veins. He looked at the baby dragon, eyes wide and glowing. He realized they were partners now, bound not by circumstance but by choice. The colossal dragon hovered above, surveying him silently. Malik's mind raced. This isn't just a rescue. This is the start of something bigger. Something I don't yet understand. A sudden shimmer in the storm caught his eye, a faint, distant signal, like a beacon flashing from beyond the mountains. Malik's pulse quickened. The baby dragon chirped, wings fluttering, its glow reacting to the distant signal. Malik's heart leapt. Another mystery, another challenge. And he knew deep down that whatever came next he wouldn't face it alone. As the colossal dragon rose into the storm, watching silently, Malik whispered, "Then let's see what you want me to do next." And with that, the frozen planet stretched before him, full of danger, questions, and the unknown. Malik's heart pounded as the storm howled around him. The colossal dragon circled above, wings beating like thunder, eyes locked on him and the baby dragon. Every instinct screamed danger, but retreat was impossible. Behind him, the outer docks stretched into the icy wasteland, jagged metal and debris making the terrain treacherous. The drones were regrouping, servos whirring, sensors scanning, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Malik had seconds to act. He tightened his grip on the baby dragon, feeling the warmth and faint energy pulses radiating through its small body. The creature's glow brightened in response to his determination. Malik realized they weren't just connected emotionally, they could act together. The drones advanced, metal feet scraping ice, lights flashing red. If they reached him, it would be over in moments. Malik's mind raced. He spotted exposed power conduits along the dock walls, broken wiring from the earlier collapses. The baby dragon chirped sharply, almost urging him toward them. He had an idea. Using the dragon's energy pulses and the exposed circuits, maybe he could create a temporary electromagnetic pulse to disable the drones. Risky, yes, but the only chance he had. He set the baby dragon down briefly, carefully aligning its glowing body with the conduit. Sparks arced as energy flowed, and the little creature shivered, focusing every pulse into the metal lines. Malik gritted his teeth, connecting a secondary wire with his gloves. The drones hesitated, their sensors flickering. Then, in a brilliant burst of light and sound, they convulsed, sparks flying from their joints and collapsed in a cascading failure. Malik stumbled backward, shielding the baby dragon as pieces of machinery clattered onto the icy floor. Small payoff, they had survived the mechanical onslaught, but the storm was far from over. Above them, the colossal dragon roared, wings folding as it descended closer. Malik held the baby dragon tight, feeling its heartbeat synchronize with his own. The creature pulsed with energy, responding to his courage. The giant dragon's eyes blazed, examining him with a mixture of suspicion and something else, recognition. Malik realized the creature wasn't just testing him, it was deciding if he was worthy of trust. The wind from the storm surged, whipping ice and debris across the docks. Malik spotted an abandoned transport sled nearby, partially buried under rubble. He bolted toward it, carrying the baby dragon. The colossal dragon followed, landing with a ground-shaking thud. Malik's pulse raced. If it attacked, the sled would offer almost no protection. But he had to try. He leapt into the sled and activated its manual controls. It shuddered and groaned but began moving across the ice, gliding toward the cliff edge where the frozen plains dropped sharply. The colossal dragon tracked him, wings slicing the air, each beat sending gusts that threatened to topple the sled. Malik swerved, narrowly avoiding jagged ice spikes, adrenaline surging. He kept talking to the baby dragon, whispering encouragement, feeling their connection deepen with every pulse of energy. Suddenly, from the storm clouds above, lightning struck the icy cliffs. The colossal dragon roared in anger, or frustration, and Malik felt the shockwave push the sled violently. He held on, heart hammering, but the baby dragon chirped, emitting a bright pulse that stabilized the sled, almost as if it were holding the vehicle steady with sheer energy. Malik's jaw dropped. The tiny creature wasn't helpless, it was powerful beyond imagination. As they reached the cliff's edge, Malik had to decide: leap into the unknown below or risk being overtaken by the massive dragon and remaining drones. He glanced at the baby dragon, its scales shimmering with intensity, eyes fixed on him. Malik knew they had to trust each other fully. He shouted over the wind, "Hold on," and drove the sled off the edge. Ice and snow whipped past them as they plummeted. Malik felt the dragon's energy enveloping the sled, softening their fall just enough to land safely on the frozen plains below. The colossal dragon hovered above, circling them, watching silently. Malik's chest burned, not from exhaustion, but from the raw intensity of survival. He had faced collapsing corridors, hostile drones, and impossible heights. But this was different. He had faced a being that could end him with a single swipe, and he had survived not with weapons, but with courage, intelligence, and empathy. The baby dragon chirped again, and Malik realized something extraordinary. The bond they had formed was now mutual trust. Then the storm shifted. A strange signal pulsed faintly in the distance, piercing the wind. Malik's eyes widened. The colossal dragon's head turned sharply toward it, wings tensing. It wasn't just a storm or a facility threat. Something else was out there, far larger, far more important. Malik felt a thrill he hadn't felt before. They had survived this ordeal, but the universe was wider and stranger than he could imagine. The baby dragon chirped in agreement, its glow flickering like a heartbeat. Malik looked up at the colossal dragon. For the first time he understood. This being was not just a test, it was an invitation. The empire this baby dragon came from was vast, intelligent, and in turmoil. And he, a janitor from a small station, had just proven he could face impossible odds, make critical decisions under pressure, and earn the respect of creatures beyond comprehension. The colossal dragon roared one last time, echoing across the frozen plains. Malik's chest rose and fell rapidly, but he smiled despite the exhaustion. He had survived, and in doing so he had unlocked something new, a role he never imagined for himself, a connection to an entire empire that now depended on his courage and determination. And just as he caught his breath, a flicker of movement far across the plains drew his attention. Another signal, brighter and more urgent than the first, pulsed from the horizon. Malik's eyes narrowed. Whatever challenge awaited next, he and the dragons would face it together. With the baby dragon in his arms and the colossal guardian circling above, Malik whispered, "We're just getting started." The wind howled across the frozen plains, carrying flakes of metallic ice that sparkled under the faint light of the distant storm. Malik stood on the edge of the icy plateau, the baby dragon nestled securely in his arms, its warmth pulsing through him. Behind them, the colossal dragon circled high above, wings slicing the turbulent sky with graceful power. For a moment, Malik allowed himself to breathe. They had survived the impossible. The drones, the collapsing facility, the storm, and the sheer force of a being beyond comprehension. The baby dragon chirped softly, wings fluttering, eyes glowing faintly as if sensing Malik's thoughts. He smiled, feeling a connection deeper than words. This creature, tiny, fragile, yet extraordinary, had chosen him, trusted him, and in return he had risked everything to save it. Malik realized for the first time that he wasn't just a janitor. He was someone who could face the unknown, make life-altering choices under pressure, and command loyalty through courage alone. From above, the colossal dragon descended slowly, landing beside him with a ground-shaking thud. Malik's heart raced. The air shimmered around it, energy from the creature interacting subtly with the baby dragon's glow. The massive dragon lowered its head, and Malik instinctively knelt, unsure whether he was expected to rise or bow. But the dragon did neither. Instead, it pressed a claw gently toward the baby dragon, who chirped in recognition. A bond, ancient and unspoken, had been reaffirmed. Malik realized he was now part of this relationship, a bridge between two dragon generations, a human whose courage had earned the respect of a vast, alien empire. Malik's mind turned back to the facility, now distant and silent under the storm's shadow. The drones were down, the corridors destroyed, and the once hostile systems no longer posed a threat. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. The dragon civilization was far larger than he could comprehend, and the storm that raged across the plains was just one part of the challenges that awaited. But in that moment none of it mattered. He had proven his worth. The baby dragon chirped again, its scales flickering with light that now seemed almost celebratory. Malik laughed softly, a sound that cut through the wind. "You did it," he whispered. "We did it. Together." It chirped in response, the tiny arcs of energy crawling across its body like a heartbeat of approval. Malik's chest swelled with pride. He had saved a life, yes, but he had also earned the loyalty of a creature whose species could shape empires. That was something no training, no rank, and no authority could give him. From the distance, the faint signal they had noticed earlier flickered again, brighter and more urgent. Malik squinted toward it. It pulsed like a beacon, and he sensed that it was calling, not just the dragons but him as well. The colossal dragon's gaze shifted to the horizon, wings flexing as if ready to take flight. Malik understood. Their survival here was only a prelude. The empire, vast and powerful, awaited, and he was now part of it, bound by courage, empathy, and action. He took a deep breath, feeling the cold bite of the wind and the warmth of the dragons in his arms. Malik realized that his life had changed irrevocably. He was no longer just a man who cleaned floors and fixed broken systems. He was someone who could face impossible odds, make split-second decisions, and inspire loyalty through courage and morality. He had acted when others hesitated, trusted when others doubted, and saved when others would have fled. That was human strength in its purest form. The colossal dragon lifted into the storm, a guardian and guide, while the baby dragon chirped insistently, urging Malik to follow. He adjusted his grip, feeling a surge of confidence. The world beyond the frozen plains was uncertain, yes, but he was no longer afraid. He had allies, powerful and wise, and the bond he had forged would be a shield in the trials to come. As they prepared to move, Malik glanced once more at the flickering signal. Its pulsing rhythm hinted at intelligence, at urgency, and at a mystery far greater than the frozen chamber they had escaped. He felt a thrill, the familiar surge of curiosity that had driven him to act from the very first moment he saw the frozen baby dragon. This was bigger than survival. This was discovery, responsibility, and adventure, all wrapped into a single heartbeat of possibility. The storm's fury began to wane as the first light of the alien sun peeked through the clouds. Malik, holding the baby dragon close, took a careful step forward. The colossal dragon soared above, a silent guardian, and Malik felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He had faced death, machines, and the unknown, and he had prevailed. The dragon's empire, vast and unknowable, had now acknowledged him, not because of power or wealth, but because of courage, intelligence, and heart. Malik exhaled slowly. He glanced at the baby dragon, chirping softly, scales still pulsing. "We've survived this storm," he said quietly, "but the universe has much more in store for us." The dragon chirped again almost knowingly, and Malik smiled. Whatever awaited beyond the horizon, they would face it together, human and dragons, bound by trust, bravery, and unshakable loyalty. And just as the storm cleared and the plains stretched endless before them, the distant signal pulsed brighter than ever, a hint, a lure, and a promise. Malik felt it in his chest. The adventure wasn't over. The empire awaited. He whispered to the dragons, "Then let's see what's next."